Live from all over this beautiful land, this is the Testosterone Zone with the fine men, Noel, Keith, and Steve. Take it, boys!
And welcome, everybody, to episode 39 of the Testosterone Zone podcast. Hey, it's Keith. I'm here with my buds, Noel and Steve. Dudes, y'all good?
No, doing all right, man.
Hello.
Good to be here.
Cannot believe that we are in November and we are starting the final stretch of the year. And this is the time of year, I don't know if y'all agree or not, you blink and you miss it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It started the holiday season roll. It's like everything just it's downhill from here. So like 2018 will be over before we know it.
As soon as Sirius hits the holiday classics on the radio, it's just a blink and miss, you know?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but the Hallmark Channel has made an appearance here already in my house.
You know, I've got to say, thank goodness for Netflix and Hulu. Right now, they're watching reruns of old shows, and it's saved a little bit. I know it's coming.
Gosh,
they're going to realize it soon. But right now, I don't know what's worse, though. We're actually watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So,
dude, I would take almost anything over Hallmark Channel.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not so bad. So they're in there right now.
Yeah, it was crazy. The exact day after Halloween, I mean, here came the Christmas commercials on TV.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
And I've always wondered like how many people actually are compelled after watching a commercial, especially a car commercial, and say, hey, I'm going to get my wife a car for Christmas and put a big bow on it.
Like, how much does that bow cost exactly? I mean, that thing's huge. Like, and where do you hide that sucker? You know, here, helicopter, bring it in. We're good. A little lower. Oh, you know, it's crazy. So I don't know. I'm impressed.
Not go out to the garage for the next month.
Yeah. You know, can we borrow? Hey man, can I borrow your garage? That way your wife will think he got you a Mercedes. You know. And she'll be so happy, like, no, sorry, that's Steve's. And then she will like hate you. That's a great plan, you know.
Yeah.
That's for me. Nah, I'm just using it for Steve's. Here's your Yugo. It's all good.
Oh, the Yugo.
Don't worry, I'll push you down the hill till it starts. So I don't know how y'all have watched Christmas commercials. All I'm seeing is freaking politics ads. I'm so ready for the day after tomorrow. I can't. The day after tomorrow is like my Christmas. I cannot wait.
No kidding, man. Yeah. Even the people that I'm voting for, I don't even want to see them on TV anymore. I'm just like, I get it. I've already voted for you like 2 weeks ago, so go away. And then,
I saw one tonight that says, man, we are still in our final stretch. We still need to raise 1.3 million for our ads. I'm like, for what, dude?
What?
Raise one. Yeah, no, seriously. I just saw this on Facebook, and it said, yeah, we need to raise 1.3 million by tomorrow night to cover some more costs of these ads. I'm like, why don't you raise 1.3 million to feed somebody?
Yeah,
do something good with this crap. We don't care anymore, you know.
Yeah. Man,
it's all good.
Completely support that.
Yeah. Do something good with your money instead of let me see your face one more time or another freaking text message from your friends.
Oh my gosh, man! Is this the first? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was. Can y'all remember another election where we got text messages from the different candidates? Because I don't remember. Maybe I just have a bad memory. I do have a bad memory, but maybe I forgot this. That I've never gotten text messages from candidates until this year. It seems like
I haven't either.
Yeah,
and
that's new for sure.
They even know my name, you know.
Yeah.
Hey Keith, get out and vote, you know. And I'll tell you, I got one yesterday that said, "Did you know this? No lie." It said, "Did you know that your whether you vote or not is a public record, or something along those lines?" It said, "Keith, did you know that whether you vote or not is now seen as public record, so people can know whether you voted or not?" Like a threat almost.
Wow.
And I was like, are you kidding? I'm like, I voted already, but I'm like, you know, okay, so why don't you look your public records and see that I already did it and shut up? You know, it's like, I couldn't believe it. It was really like almost like belittling. I was like, you got to be kidding me. It's like, give me a break. It's so dumb. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm ready to get the day after tomorrow here. I think I'm going to put up the American flag that day.
Yeah. November 7th, the less celebrated.
November 7th, yes, the day of freedom, serious freedom. Now look in the mirror and do something about it with yourself instead of somebody who doesn't care about you. Here we go. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
I tell you guys a story about my early voting thing was funny. You know, the early voting, you don't, it draws people from all around. It's not just the people that live close to you. It's kind of people from all walks of life, which is kind of fun. And I went to my early voting place, and this elderly gentleman was there helping his even elderly gentleman, like I'm talking maybe 75 to 95 in terms of difference of age. I mean, that it was like that. And one guy, the younger guy, was there to help the older guy vote. And the older guy couldn't hear anything or much of anything. And the worker was asking him for his ID. And the younger guy said, the voter guys, or the voter helper guy or whatever, said, I need to see a photo ID. And he goes, what? And the younger guy said, well, he said he needs to see your ID. Well, I ain't got my ID right here. Why do you need my ID? And he said, I don't need your ID. He needs your ID to see it, to make sure that you're a citizen here. Well, you know how long I've lived in this county. I've been here longer than you have. And then he asked him to verify his address, and he goes, he just wants to make sure you live on Millbank Lane. And he goes, you know I live on Millbank Lane. Hell, I live here on whole damn life. I'm like, man, that is, I was everybody could hear the whole thing going on, and everybody was cracking up. I felt so bad for that worker that was there volunteering that day. But
oh my god!
Anyway, it was hilarious, man.
That is.
I was cracking up. If you can hear stuff in the background, that's the printer going. I didn't think about the printer being a distraction.
Good.
So there, you can bleep that out.
It cracks me up.
Another sound.
Now Noel is having to disclaim his noises. This is awesome.
It's not a clicking noise anyway. So.
I have to apologize. There's a printer going on. I had nothing to do with it. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Oh man, you're in my head.
Love you, bro. So I couldn't resist that last week. I'm so sorry. That was so
anyway.
All right, man. I tell you, that's hilarious. You know, and it's funny that they can like make such jest about it, because so many people are so mad about having to show their ID.
I know.
I'm a citizen, you know.
Because like, why do you need to see my ID, Earl? Because
I was the first house on the block.
I've been here longer than you have. Hell.
Oh, that's great.
So funny, man. Anyway, all right. How did the week go this week for football picks?
Well, you know, it was a sort of a split story there. So we had 3 people go 5-0 this past week. So congratulations to Jaffo, Dr. Ryan, and Stevie G.
Nice job.
We have a change at the top now for the season. Dr. Ryan took over the top spot, has a 2-game win lead over my buddy Mike. And then my dad's tied with Pat for 3rd place. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So the 3 of us, Keith, you and I both finished 4-1.
Yep.
So 2 straight weeks we've done that. And then Noel, you were 3-2. That last game there, the Texas game, really sort of hurt you there at the end.
Yeah.
I think it was Stanford game hurt you there. So,
Stanford.
Anyway,
I went on a limb and I sawed the limb off and I fell to the ground. So it's the story of my season, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, but in a blink of an eye, it could have gone either way. You know,
that's true.
Yeah. And as you know, our Red Raiders had a tough week against Oklahoma. Really, despite the injuries and all the other stuff that they experienced, you know, they found a way to hang in there. But it looks like we're going to face Longhorns, as you mentioned, Keith, with our 3rd string quarterback for you said the 2nd straight year?
Second time in 4 years.
Second time
in 4 years that we have faced the Longhorns with our 3rd string quarterback. So, yeah. I almost wonder if they've...
Well, I've already congratulated all my Longhorn buddies in advance on their win.
Yeah. Well, from what I understand, the Longhorns' offensive line's pretty beat up, so it could be interesting. So
Yeah, well, we'll make them look healthy after this weekend.
yeah, right. I know.
It's in Lubbock,
No,
isn't
that's
it?
the truth. Yeah, it is.
It is.
So
Yeah, 6:30 start.
yeah, 6:30. It'd be
Mm.
good. I really hope we can pull this one off. I really
It is,
do.
yeah.
So be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice. Kingsbury needs another good win, I think, and this would be a good one. So we were so close against Oklahoma. That was heartbreaking, man.
Yeah,
I try
it was.
not to get emotionally tied. I got emotionally tied last weekend. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that one. I
Yeah.
let that one bother me more than most. So, oh well.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, good news is our backup teams had a good week. No, congratulations, Alabama whooped up on
Wasn't even
LSU. I mean,
close.
golly, I don't know if they could be beat.
I
I don't think
think
so.
they can.
Unless they just happen to have an off weekend for some weird way. I don't see how they can be beat.
College football is weird, and
Yeah.
stranger things have happened. But man, they're consistently good. It's
Yeah.
pretty. It's impressive.
Yeah, they're definitely red hot. And speaking of red hot, Keith, your team, Clemson, whooped up Louisville. And if I'm keeping track right, I think it's 3 or 4 straight games they've won by 50 or more points.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So,
but they're not playing Alabama caliber teams. That's the difference. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Mm.
It might be a fun game between the two of those teams. If they face off.
I would kind of like to see that. I really would.
That would be fun.
Sorry if that happens, Noel. I think I'm rooting for Clemson in this one.
Yeah. Everybody outside of Alabama will be rooting for Clemson.
I know. They're one of the, I saw some poll somewhere that said Alabama is one of the most hated teams in all sports, and I can understand why. I mean,
yeah, but it's funny because isn't it funny the human nature of hating people that win?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when Alabama was first starting to be really good, I was like a couple of years ago, I was like, man, this is great. The whole Bear Bryant stuff. I'm so proud of that tradition coming back into power, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, please lose.
Yeah.
It's funny the way the human mind works. It really
I think it's also like an American thing too, because I think Americans in general like to pull for the underdog. And I think it goes back to, I think it has roots back in our independence from England. Like we were kind of up against the odds. We kind of broke away, did our own thing. We wanted to be independent and break free and stuff. And I'm not making any sense, but
I know what you're saying, though.
I know what I'm trying to say. I mean, it's sort of like you kind of cheer for the underdog. We had like a ragtag group of people that broke away from England, came over here and started a revolution and broke away and made their own thing. And it's sort of like, I think Americans just sort of have it ingrained in them to cheer against the biggest and the best. The power. So I don't know.
It's true.
Incomplete thought there,
it's
but
true. That's really interesting. Good point.
So, Georgia did beat Kentucky. So over a ranked team. So they've moved back into the top 5 rankings. Alabama's number 1, Clemson's number 2, and Georgia's number 5.
Okay.
So
who's 3 and 4? Michigan and Notre Dame, or vice or reverse, or
it's one of those two teams. I'm not sure which order.
Yeah, man, Michigan looks good. That's another good team that's really starting to come together. It's kind of interesting to see. Notre Dame, Michigan, Alabama, all of these like historic franchises now being up there at the top. Kind of fun to see. So,
yeah, really is.
Yeah. So what do we got for this week, man?
All right. So this week's games, there's going to be some tough ones considering that some of these games and ranked teams are playing on the road. So first game out of the ACC is number 2 Clemson at number 22 Boston College.
Okay.
So that could be a tough one on the road.
Boston College.
Out of the big.
Yep.
Yeah, number 2 Clemson at Boston College. Number 22 Boston College. Second games out of the Big Ten. It'll be number 10 Ohio State at Michigan State.
Okay.
Then out of the Big 12, I picked Baylor at number 24 Iowa State.
Baylor had a good win this week.
They did.
It was impressive. Makes our
out of the Pac-12, we'll have Oregon at number 15 Utah, which, by the way, I had no idea that Utah was good this year.
Yeah, Utah's always one of those teams that like you never realize it. You're like, oh, and like Boise State and Utah, they're always like pretty good, consistently every year, but you never really hear about them.
BYU is another one of those teams I would throw in there too. That's sort of that way.
Yeah. All the Utah, it's funny.
Sneak up on you.
It's really funny. Yeah, they do.
And then our final games out of the SEC will be Auburn at number 6 Georgia. And of course, Auburn came off of a big win, last minute win against A&M.
Man, I'll tell you, there's nothing fun. I think I sent it to you guys to see the ESPN probability win meter. I mean,
crushing.
Talk about. 99.9% chance to win for A&M, and then
0.
Straight down. I was like, oh my gosh, and I felt like that's what every Aggie felt too the whole way through. I was like, there is a bunch of Aggie, what is it, Cobras? What do they call it?
Yeah, surrender Cobras.
Yeah.
Truth, man.
I think I would have done the same one if it happened like that, man. So anyway, all right. So first is which one?
So we'll start with the Knoll, number 2 Clemson at number 22 Boston College.
Well, I'm going to go with Clemson. I just think their offense is clicking better than even the Tech's offense is. I mean, they're putting up Tech type numbers and stuff against people. So Boston College is good, but I think Clemson's just a little bit better. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right, Keith, who do you have?
Got to go with my boys. So go Clemson.
All right. And I'll follow suit. Boston College was impressive with coming from behind to win last week. But you know what? Clemson's just too darn good. So I'll follow the lead there.
Agreed.
Keith, we'll start with you on the Big Ten game, number 10, Ohio State at Michigan State.
Okay. They're playing at Michigan State. I'm gonna go for Michigan State. They've been kind of mixed at home. They beat Utah State at home, lost to Arizona State at home. Only have beaten Michigan. They lost to Northwestern at home. Okay, maybe I'm changing my mind here.
They totally sucked at home, man.
Okay, never mind. I'm going for Ohio State. Changing my mind. Ohio State for me.
Ohio State. Awesome. Okay. You know what? I'm going to take Michigan State in this game. I think playing at home makes a huge difference for them. And Ohio State's been very inconsistent this year, so I think Michigan State's going to pull this one off. Noel, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Ohio State.
Ohio State.
The Buckeyes.
All right.
Buckeyes.
Yeah, it's boy, looking at their win-loss record at home. Never mind. I changed. That was easy.
Yeah.
So, but maybe you'll be right. Maybe they're looking for that final battle, to save some face at home, Steve.
Yeah. So. I'll be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if Urban Meyer retires or takes a hiatus from coaching for a little while after this season. There's these rumors swirling that his head's not in the game and he's got some health issues and stuff. So we'll see. It could be interesting to see what happens at Ohio State after the season's over. All right. We'll move on to Baylor at number 24, Iowa State. I'll take this one. Iowa State's really good, and I don't understand why. And their coach is just awesome. And then Baylor they're sort of like Jekyll and Hyde. You never know which team's going to show up. I think this is actually going to be a really good game, but I'm going to take the home field advantage and take Iowa State on this one. And Noel, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Iowa State. I completely agree with your analysis there on Baylor being kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. You never know, if the team that is going to be competitive with Texas is going to come out, or if you're going to come out and be the team that just gets steamrolled. So, but Iowa State, I do know beat us, I just think they're a good team. They got a good coach, and I like them against Baylor.
Yeah.
Yep. 3-4. I'm going to say the same thing. No.
Okay. Awesome. All right, Noel. Let's take you to the Pac-12. Oregon at number 15, Utah.
I'm going to go with Utah. I don't know much about them. Kind of like we just talked about. You don't really hear about them, and then all of a sudden, hey, look, we're number 15 or something, and so, but I do know that I've followed Oregon closer just because we've had them as some of our picks this year. and have not been too impressed. So I'm gonna go with Utah.
Okay, sounds good. Keith, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing. They have their running backs already run for over 1,000 yards this season with 11 touchdowns. Moss, he looks pretty stout, so they definitely have a solid run game compared to I guess a bigger pass game for Oregon. So it's going to be two different types of playing styles, I think. But Utah at home is going to be hard to beat. So
yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that Oregon was no longer ranked until I was looking at these games, and Oregon's a tough team, and they got a great quarterback, and many say he's going to be a top pick in NFL draft when he goes out for the draft, and I think Oregon's going to try to get their swagger back, and by going into Utah and winning this game, so I'll take Oregon.
Look at Steve being bold this week.
Yeah, he is, man.
That's two picks that are questionable at best.
Good stuff.
So this is where I'll remind you, Noel, that you've won 29 games this season.
Yeah, yada.
All right, so we digress. Keith, we'll have you start off the SEC game. Auburn at number 6, Georgia.
I think Georgia is going to win this one pretty handily. I know that Auburn squeaked it out against Texas A&M, but I think Georgia is pretty stout and going to be a hard one to beat going forward. So Georgia for me.
Yeah,
at home especially.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's going to be one of these games that's close in the first half, but then, golly, the offensive line of Georgia is going to open up that running game and wear out Auburn. So I'm definitely going to take Georgia in this one. Noel, who do you have?
Yeah, I'm going to go Georgia too. Like that's a pretty safe pick in my book. So Auburn had a good week last week and pulled off a good win against A&M, but I mean Georgia's just stacked, especially on their offensive line. It's ridiculous. So.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Can you believe that after we just finished week 10, we got 5 more weeks of regular season football and then going to the bowls. So, Ellie, it's slipping away quickly.
It really is.
It's like you look forward all year to the football season, and it's just like it goes so fast.
Yeah,
it does.
Especially college football. It just goes quick.
Yeah, totally.
But it'll be fun. I mean, then we'll get into bowl season, and I figure we're gonna finish off the regular season and see who wins this group, and then I think we need to. Maybe in the next, probably around the next couple of weeks, we'll announce kind of a different strategy that we'll go through for bowl season to try to mix things up a little bit.
That sounds great.
It'll be good. It'll be good. But man, Steve, thanks again for putting all this together. I know you're working hard on it. I appreciate it.
That's fun.
So anyway, I have a couple of interesting stories that center around this time of year. First of all, in Germany, every year, German racers decide to have a boat race. However, they decide to swap their boats out for giant pumpkins. And so since we're at this time of year, a city in Western Germany, Krulschoffer, I guess that's how they say it, in the Krulschoffer Lakes, they have an annual pumpkin race. And this is the third year in a row that they've had. It's over a 35-meter, 115-foot course. Basically, these pumpkins are grown specifically for this race. The pumpkins must weigh at least 550 pounds in order to qualify to be part of this race. And to minimize the risk of capsizing, if there are heavier participants, they have to be even bigger. So I'll post a picture of this pumpkin this guy has in this picture on our Instagram page or Facebook or Twitter or something, because it's huge. And so basically, one of the guys like, it was hard fighting against the wind to get anywhere, but when you're in the groove, it works. I imagine it'd be a lot more difficult. So the guy's like, yeah, I actually thought after a few meters you just fall in, but you just stay afloat. So anyway, the fastest racers they have 6 different categories, and the fastest racers in each one of the 6 categories get basically $235 in prize money. Or if they grew their own pumpkins, they actually get 300 euros, which is 100 euros more than the 200 which is $230. So anyway, so this time of year, if you don't know what to do with your old pumpkin, I guess you may want to grow a little bit bigger one in your yard and head over to Germany because they got something for you.
Yeah.
A 500-pound pumpkin, man.
Can you imagine that? I mean,
no, that's insane.
500-pound pumpkin, 550. That's the minimum weight. That's awesome. So, I mean, how do you even haul that? Yeah,
that's what I was wondering. You can't go to
top of your truck.
Yeah, you can't go to a pumpkin patch. Just toss that puppy in the back of your car. I mean, you have to have it delivered.
You're going to have a El Camino to that sucker around.
Those Germans always knew how to party. That's for sure.
That is for sure. So that's one way they know how to do it. And after that, I'm sure they go to their beer garden and finish off Oktoberfest in style.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm jealous.
I know, right?
Attention race contestants. Please take your place along the starting line.
And so now we're heading into November. And so here's the other story I've got for you. So, and this is a good little history lesson. So did you know that with daylight savings time, this coming to an end, I guess, this last weekend, this is the 100th year that the U.S. has observed daylight savings time. Did you know that?
No. Huh.
I didn't
I
either.
did not.
So here's just a little bit of history about daylight savings time. So basically, centuries before they came into being, actually Ben Franklin had proposed kind of daylight savings time. And basically it was more of a joke than anything when he had talked about it. But what ended up happening was that there was a New Zealand entomologist that came up with the idea of daylight savings time back in 1895. But he proposed a 2-hour time change, and he actually decided that he might want to do it in increments. And so every weekend they would change it by half an hour until it got up to the right time.
Dear
instead of all
Lord.
Yeah, right.
Man, that would mess everybody up.
I know. Could you imagine? So, but anyway, and then there was another guy, British builder William Willett, I guess, which happens to be the great grandfather of Chris Martin, who is the lead singer of Coldplay, ironically. So he proposed to England's Parliament as a way to prevent the nation from wasting daylight, and he was championed by Winston Churchill and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, but was initially rejected by the British government. And he, basically kept arguing until he died. So he died hoping the time would change. And now we just wish it would stop. Right.
Yeah,
so
right.
Anyway, but the actual time change idea started 2 years into World War I in 1916. And it was actually started by the German and Austrian governments. And they were trying to figure out a way to save and conserve energy for World War I. And they remembered this idea of moving the clock forward and having more daylight time. So that's what happened. And then England decided just shortly after that to follow suit. And basically every other country that fought in World War I also followed suit. And so basically the United States started this on March 9th of 1918. So exactly 100 years ago this year. And so they enacted its first daylight savings law, and it was a twofer. So in addition to saving daylight, they actually started the time zones, the standard time zones in the U.S. in the same year. And so basically at that time, the idea was coal power being king. It was a way to conserve the amount of coal that was consumed to create energy for the country. But, here we are today, maybe not needing that as importantly, and we're still doing this dumb thing. So anyway, little history lesson on why the times are still a changing. You know what I mean? So
thanks a lot, Europe.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
that's interesting. I never knew that about the time change.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was kind of funny because I was just like, time change. I'm really like, well, who came up with this idea? And then sure enough, I'm looking. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually the 100th anniversary in the U.S. It's kind of funny. So anyway, so happy anniversary, daylight savings time! Yay! Can we all adopt Arizona's idea? That's great. So
I like the fall part, the fall time change, but man, I do not like the spring time change. It's
jacks me up for a month trying to get out of bed.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I know like tonight I feel like it's already midnight.
I know.
But still, I would much rather feel that way where I can still go to bed at any time than waking up and feeling like a sledgehammer hit me an hour early. It's brutal. But anyway, there you have it. A little history lesson and a little pumpkin fact for you to celebrate and start into the month of November. So
very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, man.
Well, thanks for doing the research on that, bringing that story. That's interesting. Never knew that.
I didn't either. So it was one of those things where I'm like, where did this even come from? I just wanted to know.
That's cool.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Very
So,
cool.
and that was off of National Geographic, so it's got to be legit, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Totally.
Hey, guys, just a quick change of subject. Did y'all know that Spider-Man has the ability to count every spider around the world?
Count every spider around the world. I didn't know
I
that.
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah. He uses his spider senses. Found that one about 5 minutes ago.
Oh man, it's
So after the snow, Steve, did you get a lot of ice?
Yeah.
Are y'all having
sure
a lot of ice? Or I've often heard that the word icy is the easiest word to spell. And looking at now, I see why.
Oh man, that was good, man. Speaking of superheroes, do you know why Superman gets invited to dinners?
Why Superman gets invited to dinners?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Because he's a superhero.
Oh.
Oh man.
Boom.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We've had better joke weeks.
We've had, but we've also had worse.
Well,
so
totally, that is true.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, maybe we need to have our Facebook listeners submit some more dad jokes just to help us. So those were some good ones last week.
Yeah, they were.
We appreciate everybody doing that. So, oh man. Well, with that, I guess 39. We're in the books. Can you believe this? And like you say, just a few more pick 5 challenges to go, and it's it's kind of fun that this late in the season there's not a clear-cut winner, and this people are neck and neck. So this is fun.
It really is.
Yeah. Except for me, I think it's pretty clear I'm going to lose the whole pick'em thing. In fact, I think all three of us are probably going to lose.
We're just doing that because we don't want to win our own shirts. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Very true. That is very true.
So yeah, but we're purposely picking the wrong teams. That's what it is.
Very noble of us to do it that way too.
Yeah, it really is. We're noble. Yeah. We rule.
Yeah.
All right, who's taking us out?
Go ahead, Steve. All right. Well,
y'all do this.
We do. We should probably talk about this beforehand, don't you think?
I don't know. It's still fun.
It's part of the show. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you all get out and vote. I guess today, because this is going live today, right? It's going live on election day. So
yeah.
So we hope you voted today.
We hope you voted today. If you're listening to this after,
we hope you did, because
if you're listening to this after polls have closed, which it's when it will be released. So hope you voted and participated.
I hope you join me in putting out a flag tomorrow.
Exactly. National day after election day. So
yes, yeah. Take down a political sign and put up a flag.
That's right, man. So anyway, hope everybody has a good week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you next time on episode 40. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the Testosterone Zone. We sure had a blast visiting with you. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave us some feedback, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
All Testosterone podcast episodes are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve unless otherwise noted.
The opinions expressed in the Testosterone podcast are our own and not those of our employers, families, parents, kids, dogs, cats, your mom, or any other entity Noel, Keith, or Steve are affiliated with now, in the past, or in the future, or ever.
Oh, that was almost like harmony.
Almost.
I almost feel bad not contributing.
Yeah, we needed another part in there, didn't we?
Yeah, like the high end or the low end, you know, like the barbershop quartet version. Somebody going, yeah.
Yeah.